I'm Sherilyn Skolnicki, and this is Brilliant Balance, the show for working women who are ready to shine. Each week, I bring you ideas, inspiration, and insight on balance, business, and getting it all done gracefully. You ready? Let's be brilliant. This is episode 292 of the Brilliant Balance podcast. And today I am talking about how to say what you want so that you actually get it. Now, a while back, I did an episode called Declare Your Desire, and it was a very popular episode. It was something that got a lot of great feedback and reviews when that particular episode went live. I think because we are collectively so challenged by being able to say what we want. And this year, I did a live workshop recently that resulted in me having calls with a lot of women after that workshop. So if you were part of Lighten the Mother Load, you'll know what I'm talking about here. And when I was having the calls with women after that workshop, one of the things that kept coming up was, I know what I want, but it's not happening. And when we started to ask a little bit about why, it was like, well, no one else knows that I want this. I haven't told anybody that I want this. And because of that, we're kind of expecting them to be mind readers or to get out their crystal ball. And meanwhile, they're just busy living their own lives. And so we're kind of getting lost in the shuffle. So this skill of being able to clearly articulate what it is that you want so that you can get buy-in, so that it actually has a chance of happening is really, really a powerful skill. And that's why I thought this would be a good time to reshare this episode, because it feels like there's a lot of people who could benefit from hearing this message at this moment in time. Okay, so without further ado, here is your insight into how to declare your desire and say what you want so that you actually have a chance of getting it. Welcome back. And if you are in the US, I hope you enjoyed a day off yesterday in honor of Memorial Day. And thank you especially to our servicemen and women, especially those who have made the ultimate sacrifice with their lives. It's always such a poignant day of reflection for any of us who had a family member or a loved one that gave their lives in service to this country. And also, Memorial Day marks the unofficial beginning of summer. So yay for that. Yay for pools opening in some places and lots more time outside, lots of sunscreen, lots of popsicles, lots of s'mores in our future. I know it has been a wild ride this spring and will continue to be in many ways this summer, but those simple pleasures of summer have never sounded so good. So yay for that. Today on the podcast, we're going to talk about something that is really important for all of us. I think especially for women can be culturally a little bit of a bigger challenge than it is for men. And we're going to talk about declaring your desire and how to really claim what you want in life and then go after it. And the cool thing about this topic is it plays out in big and small ways, right? You can take this concept and apply it to your purpose. Are you pursuing the purpose and your calling and what you're really meant to do with this lifetime? And you can also apply it to very small things like what you would like to have for dinner, or where you would like to spend Friday evening. So this concept kind of translates big and small, which is really helpful because I think no matter what's going on in your life, you'll be able to find yourself in it. And this episode really is for you if you find that you struggle to articulate, and then claim what you want and then really stick to it, right? Harness, own that position and be willing to sustain that position, maybe even in the face of some opposition. So today we're going to talk about, declaring what you want. And it's hard. It's hard for a lot of people. It's hard for the women who we coach in Breakthrough, which is our most popular coaching program, the one that really we built our reputation at Brilliant Balance on this program called Breakthrough. And in Breakthrough, the core thing we're doing is helping women build a personalized plan for their dream life. You're going through a lot of reflection on what does life look like up till this point? What's working? What's not? What do you want to steer your life toward? And then we build this action plan so that it really happens. And in order to do that, as you might imagine, you have to know what you want. And often when people start breakthrough, they don't know what they want. And that's part of the process, right? So it's totally okay to not know what you want at the beginning, but we have to be able to pull that out. And so in order to pull it out, sometimes we have to ask in tricky ways so that your brain doesn't shut you down before you've been able to articulate, your desire. And somewhere deep down, most of us know what we want, but declaring it is another thing. And actually going after it that's the holy grail, right? Actually kind of having the courage to take the action and the persistence to sustain that action, that's definitely the holy grail. And women get stuck at all three levels, right? Knowing what they want, declaring what they want, and going after it. But today's episode, I want to focus on that second, which is when it's time to actually speak it out loud. So let's assume for today that you know what you want. And again, if you want to make this easier on your psyche, you might call to mind a small example, like, what you would like to do on Friday evening, or what you would like to have for dinner, or maybe something, relatively small that you want to buy for the home. But if you want to think on a bigger level, if you're feeling up for that, then you could think about declaring something that you want that there may be opposition to on a bigger level in your life. Okay. And I want to talk about a way to think about the belief systems or the questions that might surface that could stop you from declaring your desire, that could essentially cause you to swallow it back and just not speak it aloud and carry it around with you, but have it start to feel like a burden and not, this kind of possibility that could take flight. So in order to declare your desire with confidence, there are three beliefs or questions that you're going to need to push through. And we're going to kind of dig into each one of them today. The first one is, what will people think? What will people think? So this is the judgment one. This is the one where our fear of being judged by others, our fear of, what will they think of this idea? Are they going to think this is stupid? Are they going to think this is selfish, right? Or what will they think of me? Are they going to say, oh my God, she would never be able to do that, but not tell us, right? That's the fear that we're really grappling with, is the judgment that they might speak, and also the judgment that they might not speak, that we have to imagine, and then we make it worse than it even really is. So in order to push through the resistance that question will cause, what will people think? You're going to need to get comfortable being uncomfortable. You're going to need to build some tolerance for other people having thoughts about you or about your ideas that are not in perfect alignment. And the tolerance for that discord, the tolerance for that gap is essential for you to be able to move past it. Because if you believe that you cannot tolerate that discomfort, that you say, I'd really like to go, I don't know, I'd really love to have lobster for dinner. And your husband is going to be like, are you crazy? We're not having lobster for dinner. Lobster is expensive and the kids won't eat it and blah, 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 whatever. And then you don't even speak it because you can't possibly withstand that being his response. Then you'll just walk around wanting lobster for the rest of your life. Okay? Whatever your lobster is, quote unquote, whatever it is, you'll just walk around wanting it forever if you can't withstand the potential discomfort or the dialogue, the back and forth that might ensue when you start talking about this. If you want to start a business and you can't imagine what your father would say because he taught you to go get the safe, secure job with benefits and a retirement plan, and you really want to start a business and you can't imagine that you would be able to withstand the way he would raise his eyebrow, right? Or the comment that he would make, then you won't start the business. You won't even talk about starting the business because even speaking it would invoke that kind of commentary. So underneath that is the fear of judgment, right? What will people think? The fear of judgment could be something that's shutting you down from even declaring your desire. All right, what's the second one? The second one is, what if I fail, right? This is the fear of failure. If I tell someone I want this, or I tell someone, I'm going to go try this, and then I fail, then I will be so embarrassed, right? Or I will be so ashamed. Or even if I tell someone I'm going to do it and then I chicken out, then I will feel embarrassed or I will feel ashamed. So there's a tight circle here back to what other people would think for a lot of us. Like failure sometimes is deeply personalized. Like if I failed, then I would have to confront that I'm not as good as I think I am, right? That's an internalized view of failure. But it also can be, I'm afraid I'm going to fail because then I have this judgment cycle, right? Other people will then, their initial belief or their initial judgment of my idea will be validated. And then I'll be even more embarrassed or even more ashamed, okay? So what if I fail is a huge barrier to articulating what we think. Because here's the truth. If you don't declare it and then you don't do it, then you never have to risk failing at it. And somewhere in your mind, it knows that's like a protective mechanism. If I don't say I want to start a business and then I never start one, then I never have to fail. And that feels better than taking the chance, right? Pushing through the judgment and pushing through the potential for shame or embarrassment. But it also takes away the potential for success. What comes with that is it robs you of the potential to succeed and to claim victory and to show all the people who were uncomfortable with the idea that it can work out. And we take that away from ourselves often before we even start, when we won't declare our desire. So I will get women sometimes who they know exactly what they want. They're just holding it in kind of a clenched fist close to their heart, and they won't speak it because really that's where that first opportunity for judgment comes in. Hi, it's Cheryl Ann. Thanks for listening. Did you know that the ideas I share on this show are things I also can help you implement? If you want me in your corner helping you find more time for what fills you up, go to brilliant-balance.com/schedule and sign up for a free exploratory call. Give yourself this time. You'll be so glad you did. Okay, now, what will people think? And what if I fail are two really big questions. And sometimes you don't even need anything more than that to shut you down. But the third that can shut you down is, what would it cost? What would it cost? What would it cost me to declare this or to actually do this? And sometimes the idea, our calculation of what the cost would be of moving forward with this idea is what stops us. So I really we'll use to start a business. I really want to start a business, but it would cost me money to get started. It would cost me time. It would cost me my current job because maybe you feel like you can't do both. And so the potential cost of moving forward makes us not even be willing to say that we want it, right? So then, of course, the issue is you can't grapple with all the ways that it actually could work out. If you're not speaking about it and you're not getting any kind of outside input, no one can show you the pathway that solves for those problems, that says, hey, actually, it's going to cost a lot less money than you think to start that business. And it can take a lot less time than you think if you were willing to get some coaching and counsel from people who've already done it. And you don't actually have to quit your job to start that business because here's a pathway that it can be done in tandem, for example, right? So thinking about what it would cost, often we're in our worst case scenario in our minds when we're running that calculation. And because we won't say it out loud, because we've already censored ourselves, we can't get any input that would counter those arguments. It's not always that the cost is, financial or that the cost is time. Sometimes we think, well, taking that action would cost me my reputation. My reputation is that I'm this kind of a person. And if I do that, people will see me differently. Sometimes we think it'll cost me the illusion of perfection that I've created. Taking that action, that thing I really want, carries some risk, and I might not be great at it at the beginning. And if people think I'm really good at everything, then I can't let them see me not be good at this, right? Like let's say you wanted to play tennis and you really felt like playing tennis would be so fun, and you finally are starting to feel like you've got some time that you could devote to playing, but you're like, I'm not good at it. And all the women at that club are great at it. I can't go in there because I'm like an idiot. That's like an illusion of perfection cost, where they will no longer think that you're super talented at every single thing you do because they will see you try something new. And that is enough to make us not even say, I'm interested in learning to play tennis, right? Like we'll just shut it down and go another decade never doing it, because the thought is, if I do it, I will shatter this illusion that I've worked so hard to build. So what would it cost piece is what sometimes we just stop before we even start. Right? We stop before we even speak it out loud, and we certainly stop before we execute because we think the cost is too high. The financial cost, the time cost, the hit that our reputation would take, or that the image that we've created would take. Sometimes we think it would cost someone else their chance. Like, I can't say that I want that because someone else would suffer if I got it, right? Like, I'm trying to think of a good example. If you said, I really want to go to a book club on Wednesday nights, but if I go to a book club on Wednesday nights, I'm not available to drive my daughter to this thing that I take her to on Wednesday nights. Or my husband couldn't be at trivia night that he goes to on Wednesday nights, right? So I won't even say I want to do it because it would inconvenience someone else. That is a huge factor that keeps us from declaring our desire. Like, we will inconvenience someone else. And so it's just not worth it, right? I just won't even say that I want it at all. I'll just let time continue to elapse, and I'll continue to serve everyone else's needs. So in order to get what you want, you're going to have to go after what you want. And in order to go after what you want, you're going to have to declare what you want. You're going to have to speak it aloud and have other people know that you want it, so that you can start taking those actions. And if you're going to declare what you want, you're going to have to slay these dragons. The one about what will people think, or the judgment that could come your way, the one about what if I fail, and the one about what would it cost me or others if I were to pursue this dream, this desire with everything that I have, right? That takes work. That takes courage. That takes confidence. And it is far easier to declare your desire when you have some support and you have some voices helping you see the entire situation from a different perspective and a different angle. Because when you're so deep inside your own relationships and the dynamics of them and the distribution of power that you've been living within for a long time, whether that's at work or at home, it's very difficult sometimes to summon the courage to even say what you want, much less to go after it. And so when you bring in some outside perspective that can help you have language and help you push through that initial discomfort, so this dream of yours has a chance to take flight, very powerful things start to happen. And we see it all the time in breakthroughs. So it's so exciting to watch someone finally get the courage to say, this is what I want. And then what happens is it's like, we just radically increase the pace of creating a plan because the ideas start to flow of, okay, now I'm excited. And this is this thing I want. And here's all the steps I'm going to take. And things that seemed like barriers, they just disintegrate. They no longer feel like blockages. So there's this open road between you and your dream, which is so exciting. So exciting. There's that will never stop being exciting to me to watch women have that moment when this thing that was a wispy dream or something that seemed really scary, crystallizes and becomes magnetic and starts to pull them toward it. So if you ever feel like you want help declaring your desire, putting a plan together to go after it, come find me, because there's just nothing more fun in my life than doing that with people. The easiest way to do it is just go to our website. So SherylAnnSkolnicki.com/program. And that programs page has information about breakthrough. So if you're ever curious, that's an easy way to go get yourself educated about it. All right. I'm going to close today's episode, and I just want to tell you, if you have a moment today, if you're enjoying the podcast, if you're a regular listener, even if today is the first episode you ever heard, if you would take just a second to rate the show or even leave a short review, these ratings and reviews mean so much to us. I read every single one of them, and it just takes 1 second to click the number of stars in Apple Podcasts or elsewhere, and also just maybe another second or two to leave a 1 or 2 sentence review. They mean so much to helping other people discover the show and learn, what they can get out of it. So this is how simple it can be. This is one from Shan Cub that I loved. It said, "I really like this podcast. I get good feelings every time I listen, and I almost always feel the need to grab a pen and start taking notes. So much good information." So thank you for that review. If you would take a second today to just leave a rating or a short review, it would mean the world to me. That's it for today, my friends. Till next time, let's be brilliant.
This is thepodcastfactory.com.